If you are wanting to start a business, hopefully you've done some homework already and you've probably come across a lot of information, some of which does not line up. In fact, one of the frustrating points for me is seeing gurus out there that tell you how to start a business and they don't get it right. In fact, they sometimes put the cart before the horse. So what I try to do in my content is cut through some of the garbage that's out there, cut through some of the noise, and help you get to the heart of the matter. Now, the one thing that I think that the gurus get wrong is the advice that they give on the flow of how you start a business. Now, to their credit, many of them do start with the idea. You come up with an idea for a product or service. But where they seem to deviate from what actually needs to happen is the next step. If you have done any research at all, you've probably seen that many people say that you need to write a business plan. And then you go out and validate your idea. Now, where I have a problem with this is, and please understand, if you've ever watched any of my videos, I kind of put down business plans a little bit because they are abused. They're not used correctly. And so what I'm trying to do here is cut through some of that noise and help you to more effectively, more efficiently, more quickly start a idea and move it into a business phase. So let's start with this. You have this business idea. Now you've come up with this idea and you want to know, what am I going to do with this? So it's more than saying I want to sell a widget or a service. It's just more than that. It's more than saying oh my gosh, I have this great idea for this product. No, you have to start with, after you come up with that idea, you have to determine what problem you're solving in the marketplace. What problem are you solving for the customer? And you may say, well, I don't understand. It's not a problem. It's to find a solution. Well, if you have a solution, that means there's a problem. Okay. So come up with your idea. And I'm going to assume at this point that you have an idea to start a business. You've gone through some of my other techniques on coming up with an idea. Now we want to start with this idea of what problem are we solving? What is the problem that is out there in the marketplace? Now, we're going to get into a little deeper here in just a moment, but please understand that when you're looking at a problem, you may be solving a problem even with a product or service that already exists, okay? Meaning there's a product or service that exists, but you have a solution to fill a gap in the marketplace for that product or service. Talk about that later. So once you have determined what your idea is and what problem you believe you're going to solve, then you need to start thinking about, well, who's going to buy this? Now, sometimes this comes from the problem that you're solving because it's solving a problem for a specific market, individual, for a specific customer. And so we want to call this, in the business world, we call this the target audience. Who is your customer? Sometimes you'll hear the word customer avatar, meaning you're creating this picture of what you believe the perfect customer is for your product or service, and you're going to solve the problem for that perfect customer. So you want to think of things like age and gender, perhaps, maybe income. You might also want to think about where is it they live, where do they shop. Maybe you want to look at specifics like they're a student or they're a parent, or maybe they're health conscious, or they like the outdoors, or they're a book reader, they like books, or they're into fashion. So you want to think about specific areas. And by the way, there'll be a link with this video where you can download a prompter that's going to kind of cover some of these areas, and you can write in or type out what it is that you're doing for these sections. Now, once you have determined in your mind who the perfect target customer is, the target audience, the customer avatar, then you want to look at the next thing, which is, does this product already exist? And you might want to say, look at, are there businesses out there that are selling the same kind of product or a similar product or service than what you are proposing? Now, we're going to call this obviously the competition. who would you compete against? And you want to look at similarities and differences in the marketplace and where you can buy their product. Is it only available online? Can you buy it in stores? Uh, what is their price? Maybe look at unit size. So if you're trying to sell, a lotion or a beverage or something, look at the liters or the milliliters or whatever it is, quart, whatever it is they're selling. Look at the size of it and determine price per milliliter or whatever. You can start to figure out some of these things, looking at that price and availability. And then later on we'll dig into things like what information is maybe on the product, and things like that. So we're not going to get into that today, but what I want you to do is think about your idea and the problem that you solve, and then I want you to think about who's going to buy this product, and then is there competition? Is this product already in existence out there? Now, when you're looking at the item that's already existing, you're going to have to ask yourself, what is it going to be about my product or service that's going to differentiate myself in order for them to buy my product? Because many times, if you're going up against a well-established brand, okay, you're going to have to compete against branding because nobody knows who you are or nobody knows your product. So there's issues here that we will dig deeper into, but for now, let's keep it on the surface and think about, what is it that we have? What problem do we solve? Who is our customer? And with that problem, what problem are we solving for them? And looking at the competition and what they're doing that's similar, what they're doing that's different, or what you're doing is similar, what you're doing is different, and where you can buy their product already and the pricing per unit. Those are important for you to look at. Okay, the next step here we'll get into is how to do some research on this. See you soon. Oh, hey, sorry about that. You don't need a lot of books and a lot of education to do the next step. And really, that is validating your idea. Now, don't get me wrong, books and information and education are great. Obviously, you're here trying to learn something from me. And I have a lot of education, but I also have a real world experience. And what I'm going to share with you comes out of the real world experience more than anything. Now, the thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your idea, whether it's a product or service, is going to be something that is viable. It means it's going to last in the marketplace. And there are ways that we can do this. Now, again, I have a link below where you can download a template basically that will give you the steps here. And this should appear on the second page of that template. Now, once you have your idea, I'm going to give you 3 things that can help you to start to validate the idea, which means that you're going to start testing whether or not something is sellable, if there's an interest in it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to start with the first one. The first idea is to use this thing called Google Trends. It's trends.google.com. If you've never heard of this before, this is going to be a powerful tool for you. So I'm going to just use this example. Now, sometimes when you're doing searches on this tool, you're going to have to refine the search a few times just to get a feel for the product or service that you're trying to research. Now, this basically looks at the search queries on Google. What is trending? Where's there an interest in this? And so it's using raw data. Okay. So let's say that you have come up with this business idea where you want to, maybe you're into fitness. I'm at a place in my life where I'm trying to be more fit. And let's say that you have come up with this idea for a new protein bar. Now, I'm not going to say which one that is, but let's say you have this new idea for a protein bar. Now, if you've ever looked at protein bars, you will see that they have a lot of sodium. And this one has 330 milligrams of sodium. Let's say that you want to reduce the amount of sodium and you have this idea for a protein bar or a power bar, and you want it to be low sodium. So what you would do is you would go to the Google Trends and you would type low sodium, protein bars, not bats, bars. All right. Hey, okay, so you basically do a search for that. And what it's going to do is bring up data. Now, again, this is raw data. And this is showing interest over time. Now, this is showing interest since September 5th of 2021 through August 7th, 2022. Now, August 7th is, close to the time that I'm recording this. I'm at the end of August, actually. But what is interesting is you can see that there's these spikes, like low sodium bars, and then there's more spikes here. Now, the other thing is there's no sub-region data here, but you can scroll down and there's also no related queries. So this might be one of those situations where you have to refine your search, but let's look at this. There are related topics: protein, sodium, protein bars, low sodium diet, low topic. Now, obviously, we're not going to look at that one. However, you might build off of these related topics. So for me, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do a search for just protein bars. Now, what this will do is it's going to show me an interest again from September 2021 through August 2022. And it'll show that there's been somewhat of an increase in interest there. And you could see that there are different, we can all call this a heat map if you want, interest by subregion. And the subregions are Connecticut, Rhode Island, Kansas, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts being the top 5 subregions. And you can actually look at other subregions as well. Again, the related topics would be vital proteins, Musashi, Fairlife, Simply Protein, barbells, and then some other related topics. Again, Musashi protein bars, Simply protein bars, TrueBar, Fairlife, and Vital Protein. Now, you can also do some, you can click down here and see other topics. So my point in this is helping you to see where the interest lies in this type of product and the strength. And we can, click on this sub-region some more and see what comes up. See if it'll do it. There we go. I'm sorry. So it's the top 5 are Connecticut, Rhode Island, Kansas, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. The next 5 are Idaho, Nebraska, New Jersey, Utah, and Minnesota. And you could see that the percentage drops as we go along. And then let's say you just wanted to find your state. And so you're going through here and you find your state and you find out what the interest or the search query is for that. And let's say you wanted to figure out where is the place that you would least likely want to sell a protein bar. And according to this, it's New Mexico with 51% search query. It means that you're not going to want to spend a lot of money in advertising in that area. Your biggest area might be these top 10. Okay, so these are just different things that you can conclude from this. So there is a market obviously for protein bars, and it's a little bit more difficult to find low sodium. Now, let's say that you have this idea where you want to infuse hemp into your protein bars. You can also do that. You could say hemp protein bars and see what comes up. Now, obviously, this is going to be one of those that's like the low sodium. It's going to have least amount of information, but you can see that the related topic is bar establishment. Now, that obviously isn't helpful. So what this may end up telling you is that either there's no interest in hemp protein bars or they don't exist. And so that might be something to research more. All right, so how do you research more? Well, I like the magic portal of google.com. And over here, you can type in hemp protein bars. And look what comes up. All sorts of protein bars. And you may have to look through here. Now look, there's a no-bake vegan hemp protein bar recipe. So that's another thing. If you're going to create a product, are you going to be competing against the, DIY group of people? So you might want to look at that. There are products out here. Evo Hemp is selling hemp bars. So you might want to look at that. Now, the other thing you could do is say, well, all right, let's look at the low sodium protein bars. Again, you're going to find what is out there. And there are, this one is a high protein bar, low sodium at 140 milligrams. And if you look at it, it's a Clif bar. And so you can do your research on your product. Now, finally, because you see here, I see Amazon. That is another source for doing a search. You could look for low sodium protein bars. And by the way, while I'm doing this, you can see all the other low sodium protein items that are in the database here, protein bars. And you're going to find that, that all of these options come up. Now, obviously, you're going to have to look at, the sodium amounts that are in each one of these. And because this is another area to look at if you were doing protein bars, how much protein are they offering? Because a lot of times I'll go in to a store and look at a protein bar and it'll say 7 grams of protein. It's really expensive and it has all this garbage in it. Or I'll find a 20 gram or 25 gram or 32 gram protein bar and they taste like cardboard. So there's a lot of different things that you need to look at. Obviously, it gets more and more complicated as you research this. But what we're really interested in is this a viable product? Well, we know there are a lot of these protein bars out there. And so now you have to find out how is your protein bar going to be different than what is being offered on the market. Maybe it's low sodium, high protein with hemp oil. I don't know. But my point is, how are you differentiating from what's available in the market? Now, maybe you say, well, I want to do a hemp protein bar and I'm not finding it out there. Well, let's see. Let's see what comes up when we do hemp protein bars in Amazon, just to see. And it won't, for some reason, it keeps jumping off of there. There we go. Hemp protein bars. Now you saw there was a lot of hemp stuff popped up. And there are protein bars out there that happen to have some sort of hemp in them. Let's see if we can find them. There we go. There's the Ever bar with hemp in it. And then there's the Hemp Yeah. This is like hell yeah. So you see there are some products out there that that are hemp based, but also look at this. This particular one, not anything against any of these products, but this particular one has 6 grams of protein. And this one has 14. So again, these are ways that you differentiate from what's in the marketplace. Now, obviously, I'm using one very specific example. What you need to do is look at your product or service and see how it differentiates from what is on the market right now. So you'll maybe start with Google Trends. If you don't want to mess with Google Trends, you can start with the magic portal of google.com. And there's also one other area that you might want to think about using, and that is Google AdWords, and they have a keyword planner. So if you're trying to come up with ideas for words, search words, you can use that as well. And I'll have that link in the in the document that I'm linking below. So use Google Trends. Maybe you can use AdWords. Obviously, you're going to use the magic portal of google.com. You're going to maybe look at Amazon. Another thing, if you're in like a health focused product or service, in the example that I'm giving, you're going to see, protein bars. There are specific websites out there that are focused on that subject matter. For example, there's bodybuilder.com. Bodybuilder.com has their own, website, their own retail site. And so there's a lot of research, a lot of feedback out there. One other thing I want to mention to you about Amazon, and maybe I'll just jump back over there real quick. Let me share my screen one more time. One thing I want to mention to you about Amazon, when you're doing your research, if you go into the specific product that you're looking at, I'm just going to go into Hemp Yeah. You're obviously looking at what they're offering. You're looking at the pricing per unit. There's, what are they saying about their product? But more than anything, and by the way, here is some more information on what is in there. It's grain free, it's dairy free, it's this, it's that. And look at this. This is another thing they have is sometimes they will do these, analysis of what each item offers. But more importantly than anything, and there's ingredients, go down to the customer's questions and answers and the customer reviews. This is where you're going to find the problems that exist in the marketplace. This is where you're going to start to find that. So if you go down here, and you could start with the low stars if you want and figure out what's there. People are saying that it's, average value for the money. They're saying it's average flavor. So you can go and look, this person says it's delicious. This one says it's healthy. This one says it's an old product. And, they had a problem with it. You can go down here and, this person said, and so forth. So do your research. Look at what customers are saying about product that already exists out on the market. It's going to be really important. All right. That is how you validate your idea from that standpoint. What I'd like to talk to you about is one last piece, and that is doing a survey. Now, I am not going to walk you through how to do this, but there are tools out there to do a survey. You can use Google Forms as a free solution where you just create a survey and you provide the link to people and you get their feedback on it. You can use SurveyMonkey. There's all sorts of different products out there that are free or somewhat free. It depends on what level. For me, if you're getting started, bootstrapping, you don't have a lot of money, I would use the free products. Again, Google Forms is a great way to start. And the best way to do that is to go to my other favorite magic portal of youtube.com and type in there how to create a survey using Google Forms. And I bet you're going to find a video that'll help you. Okay, let's get started. Go out there, come up with an idea, look at who your customer avatar is, who the competition is, and then let's validate.
Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and follow us buttons.